So let's start to look how we can add an if statement value in VUE JS. And this is quite useful because, for example, here right now we have this P1, and this P1 stands for anything. And you can see here, if I refresh here, you will see here it will give anything. But imagine we want to have, depending on a number value, it will be anything or nothing, for example. How do we do this? Well, first of all, this here, we will just leave it intact for now. Here, what we need to do is we're going to create here what we call a new method. And this method allows us to create a function. So we're going to say here the method object, and within this method object, I'm going to give a new function name. And let's say here the numbers function. And this numbers function will basically do two things. Number one, it will create a constant with a random number. Random number equals, and I'm just going to grab here dot random, which is a built-in JavaScript functionality. This will give us a random number here. So if I would just do this, we could say here even return the random number, and you will see then if we do this, we're going to grab this function and we replace the P1 with the function. If I save this, refresh, as you can see here, random number. Oh, make sure we save this. Then refresh. There we are. We get a random number anywhere from 0 all the way up to number 1, or basically 100%, from 0% to 100%. Of course, what we want to do is if we are, let's say, above 50%, in that case, show a value, or else do not. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take P number 2. You can say anything or nothing. So, or we show anything, P1, or we show nothing, depending on the value. So what I'm going to do is, instead of here to return, I'm going to remove this. I'm going to say an if statement. So this if, and then we're going to grab here the random number would be bigger than 0.5. In that case, what I would like to do here is to return P1. But if you do it like this, you will see that this will not work. And well, let's save that and just show you this. You can see here, as you can see here, it just doesn't respond. The reason why it doesn't respond is it doesn't understand what this P1 is. P1 is not a constant as here as a variable, so it's not. So what we need to do is we need to be within this object and just refer to it as this. Once we do this, we say this is a reference to this entire object, search for P1, then it will show here something. So it will always show anything if it is above 0.5, and if it's not, it shows a blank value. But what I want to do as well is to do an else. I'm going to say return, and I'm going to say a P number 2. So it's one or the other, and there we are. As you can see here, anything, anything, nothing, anything, anything, and nothing. There we are. And that's basically the way we can play around by creating an if statement in the VUE JS options.